So the new My Hero game, My Hero Academia All's Justice, was recently announced. I'm very excited, just like a lot of you are, since it's the third and definitive entry in the series, and will probably be the last fighting game we'll get from My Hero Academia. But I have to admit, when it came to the previous two My Hero 1's Justice games, I wasn't the biggest fan, and I kind of regret that, and I've especially realized that now. So with the first game, I played the story and a little bit of PvP, but I was just a dumb kid. But with the second game, I downloaded it, I barely gave it a chance, and I deleted it. Well, to a lot of people's surprise, they just added My Hero 1's Justice 2 for PlayStation Plus. So I saw that as the perfect time to re-download the game and give it a try, since I'm now excited for the third game. Because I've actually heard a lot of good things about this game, and I feel like I missed out, you know? I mean, I barely gave it a chance, so this seemed like the perfect opportunity, and I thought it would breathe more life into the game from the community in general. And I was right. And after playing it all week, I've come to the conclusion that you should play My Hero 1's Justice 2 right now in preparation for My Hero Academia All's Justice. But before I get into that, hit that like button and that subscribe button for more anime game content, whether it's My Hero Academia, One Piece, Dragon Ball, and all of that good stuff. Help me get to 2,000 subs as soon as possible. But with that said, I'm your boy Kaizen, and let's get straight into it. So first I'll talk about the mechanics and the online, and then the offline content, and then my final thoughts. And of course why I think you should play the game right now. So regarding the mechanics, I completely underestimated this game. In fact, I'm now realizing that back when I did try the game, I really didn't try it, because there are a lot more layers to this game than I gave credit for. Don't get me wrong, it's no Tekken or anything like that, but it's definitely not the floaty one button masher that I thought it was. There's the regular attacks, there's the first quirk skill, the second quirk skill, as well as the motion input attacks. For example, if you press forward triangle or forward circle, depending on what character you're using, it does a different attack to when you're not using the analog stick with that button. There's also the guard breaker attacks, as well as the counter attacks, which I think kind of makes your character attack the opponent no matter what, unless they do a guard breaker themselves. It's a little confusing to explain, you'd have to see it in action, although I will put something on screen in the background, you should see it. Also regarding the floaty gameplay, which Vikings games, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen, Curse Clash, and My Hero 1's Justice are almost infamous for, I gotta say, they don't deserve the bad rep that they get, and I do see the appeal by those who do like this kind of gameplay. The floatiness kind of fits it, especially for My Hero Academia's fighting style and how these characters play, and you know, the whole wall mechanics kind of work, and the motion, like when you're moving around the arena, the map, whatever, it is pretty good. The only issue I really have is sometimes it's a little too over the top. For example, with certain characters like Bakugo, it's like every attack sends me flying sometimes, and more like importantly, or like the thing that I hate the most, there's some attacks by some characters that will literally send me into the sky in like an instant. I'm playing online and suddenly I'm in the sky. I'm not a fan of that. Oh, and of course, this character roster is a significant upgrade from the first game. It also has a lot more DLC. It got 2 season passes, which is a great sign and indicates that the game did pretty well. I mean, it definitely sold pretty well. The My Hero 1's Justice series sold 2.5 million units apparently, and I'm assuming, in fact it's safe to assume, most of that came from the second game, so the sales gotta be in the millions, right? And I guess Season Pass 2 is an indicator of that. So yeah, if you include the Season Pass, it's a lot more characters. Personally, I'm just playing the base roster because at this point in the game's life cycle, which should have been over, but I guess, you know, it's got a breath of fresh air right now because of PS Plus, I'll talk about that in a second. I don't see enough reason to buy the season passes because, you know, we're gonna have My Hero All's Justice in a matter of months. Although you never know, if I see a good sale I might just buy it. It's not on sale right now, but I'm just saying. But yeah, great roster. Now onto the online. Now I want to remind you real quick that this game is about 5.5 years old. It came out in March 2020. Now I'm not gonna say the word that everyone went through in 2020 because I think it could get this video shadow banned, but just think about all the stuff we've been through since March 2020. Like, it really puts into perspective like how long this game has been around, and I gotta say it's aged pretty well. And the fact that I'm able to find online matches as quickly as I do, I might put like a clip on screen of how long it took me to find an online match. Mind you, the footage you're likely seeing, if I'm able to find any, is late at night because I've been playing this game at night, and I gotta say, like, I don't think it's ever taken more than like 30 seconds. Now, part of why I think it's a great idea for you to play My Hero 1's Justice 2 right now is because it's on PS Plus. Now, let me just explain. It's not just because you could get it kind of for free if you have PS Plus, But even if you just have the game in your library, or if you actually want to buy the disc on sale or something, it's pretty cheap right now, like £10 in the UK, maybe less, or like $12 for you Americans, you will be able to find players online, even in ranked mode, which I'll talk about in a second. The fact that I was able to find players online at night really says a lot. However, I do want to point out that almost every player that I came across was a seemingly new account, which likely means that the reason why the player account is pretty good right now on PlayStation is because it's on PS Plus. However, that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. That's why there's many players online and why you'll have a good time online. So far I haven't lost a single online match except for one guy whose account was significantly experienced, especially compared to me and everyone else that I faced, so it's likely that he already had the game. And so if you're like an old veteran at this game, you're probably going to dominate quite a bit online, at least for now, while new players like me are still, leveling up. I will say sometimes I'd get frustrated online, like if an attack doesn't land. I'm not sure if that's because of the movement style in this game or like the attacks are all over the place. Right now my main is Nejire and I really love her combos, but with her first quirk skill when she shoots the spirals, it's like it rarely ever lands, and I don't know if that's like me using it wrong or if it's just the motion in the game is all over the place. Whatever it is, you get the idea. And as I said earlier, sometimes when you're like fighting in the sky out of nowhere, it is a little bit jarring, but I'm nitpicking here a little. Overall, I have been quite impressed. Now regarding ranked, just earlier today I tried ranked for the first time and I did win, and it was against another fairly new player, although he was higher level than me, and I was having a great time. I won, I was clearly improving, I got my first ranked win, except I didn't, because I noticed like as I was getting the win, just before I could see the victory screen, this person rage quitted, and I thought, hey, this game has been through its cycle, it's got all of its updates, and this is a really well packaged game, so I thought, hey, I'm probably still gonna get my win points and my rank up, because I'm sure they fixed this issue back in the day in like 2020, 2021. Well, unless I just got unlucky and it didn't update, I didn't get my rank up, I didn't get my win, and this guy left and I'm assuming didn't lose his rank. Or maybe he did lose his rank and I just don't rank up, I don't know. Or it could have taken long to process, although I gave it quite a bit of time, and I gotta say, in this day and age, that's not gonna run. Like, that will put me off a ranked mode altogether, and I'm praying that they don't do that for My Hero All's Justice. And if they don't, we as a community gotta push Bandai and Biking to make that thing. When someone rage quits, their rank and point system, whatever, goes down and ours goes up and we get the win. That's a must. As well as, of course, the rooms, spectator mode, having a ranked mode, all that good stuff is great. Also, one other thing that I gotta say, like, especially for a game this old after the Bleach game, which I love the Bleach game by the way, but the issues are quite jarring. This game, My Hero 1 Justice 2, doesn't have region locking, and I can't tell you how beautiful that is to me, because like the Bleach Rebirth of Souls region locking is horrendous. I'm pretty sure even some other games like Dragon Ball The Breakers had really bad region locking, which is funny because it has crossplay. Like, that's just so jarring at this point, especially with these games being somewhat niche and rarely ever having crossplay, by the way. I just want to add that. Like, if we can't have crossplay, at least give us no region locking, let me play with people in America and whatnot. Or even if I'm not inviting people from America, like when they're doing the matchmaking, don't make it so limited like in Bleach, because I feel like that game actually has a decent player count. It's just that you barely get to access to other players. So yeah, that's really good, and that's mostly my thoughts on online so far. And now I want to talk about the offline content, and I gotta say, like, if I had to summarize it, I'd say this game is really well packaged and content rich in terms of offline content. However, in terms of the quality of content, I do want to give it grace because it's over 5.5 years old, over half a decade old. But even for a 2020 anime fighter, the quality of the content could definitely be higher. And I'll explain what I mean, starting with the story mode. So first of all, as of right now, as I'm recording this video, I've finished the hero story and I'm partway into the villain story. So just like the first game, they got the hero story, and then once you finish that, you get the villain story, which is great in itself. There's also sub stories, which I haven't missed a single one yet. So for example, let's say you're playing the main story, every now and then one of the missions will have a sub mission. For example, just a little scenario from the anime, which may not be as important as the main quests, but it's still, it's still there, and I don't see why you'd want to skip it. In fact, so far they haven't even been that much of side stories. I feel like they've been pretty relevant to the main story. But in terms of the quality of the story mode itself, it's been, how do I say this, clearly they didn't put too much budget into this story mode. There's practically no cutscenes, it's just still images from the anime, and occasionally like character models from the game, and very rarely like little animations from pre-used animations in the game, like from an ultimate attack or something like that. And sometimes they'd get creative with it, like it's quite stylish, at least I'll give them grace for that. They put it in the format of like comic panels or manga panels, and sometimes they'll even get creative and make the panels move to make the scenes more, I don't know, feel more animated and expressionate, I guess. Like for example, if Toga or Deku is speaking with a lot of enthusiasm, the panel or the image will move kind of like how the character would move, up and down and shaking all around and all that good stuff. There is more reason why I'm excited for All's Justice, because first of all, it's optimized, or supposedly it's optimized for current gen consoles, and it seems like they're putting a lot more budget into the animation, so I'm quite excited for that. And the fact that it seems like such an upgrade from the first game, the second game, and the fact that this second game is only on the old gen consoles, and you know, it's been 5.5 years, it's really gonna make the third game, All's Justice, feel like a significant upgrade, almost like a new game. Whereas with other games like the new Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles 2, yeah, it's an upgrade and they did change stuff up, but it's not like a whole new experience, you know. I really feel like All's Justice is going to be a whole new experience. I mean, obviously the gameplay style is still there, but you know what I mean, it will feel like a genuine upgrade in terms of offline content and obviously gameplay. Although while I do say that the story mode feels a little cheap, I will at least say that they went all in with the final boss for the hero story. Like first of all, it was a giant villain, a boss fight, and they actually did an animated cutscene at the end, which surprised me pleasantly. I haven't finished the villain story yet, but maybe they'll do something similar for that. I guess I'll find out in like the next day or two. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but if they don't, I also get it, because like what would the final boss even be? Maybe All Might or something? That's not really like a huge boss fight. I don't know if I'm forgetting something. Maybe I'll Google it while I'm editing this and pour an image. Hopefully I'm surprised pleasant. Now the other really cool content, first of all, before I go into the arcade mode, I gotta really give props to them. A 2020 game having better customization than Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And Bleach customization isn't bad, but better customization than Bleach Rebirth of Souls. You get to add like costumes and different accessories all around the characters by unlocking them, by the way, which incentivizes you to like play the game, offline content, and I think online as well, to unlock these different accessory items and costumes. Also the DLC, you can see there is DLC costumes. I think there's a cheerleader set and some other stuff. I'm not gonna buy it, but it's cool that it's there. Personally, I'd love to see that as like unlockable stuff rather than stuff you have to buy, since you know you can already unlock costumes. Maybe it's different, maybe like it's because those DLC costumes are like full costumes, whereas the unlockables are just different items. So far that doesn't seem to be the case though, because you can kind of change the costumes, you can definitely change the colors and whatnot, but I guess I'll find out more soon. They do get quite creative with it, by the way, like Mineta being like a ankle bracelet thing. Also there's like an All Might mask and some other cool stuff like that. Now we gotta go into the arcade mode, and real quick I'll just really skim through this. The arcade mode is just a cool way to like challenge yourself in the game. I believe each character has about 3 routes. So far I think I played all of the routes for one character, which is Kaminari. I think it was one route, but there was like multiple battles you had to do, and I gotta say this was more challenging than anything I've done in this game so far, except for that one online match that I lost. Everything else, like this is way harder than that. Even with my online matches, this was harder, and I'm wondering if the other routes are harder, both for Kaminari and even for other characters. I'm not sure, but it was a good challenge, and I guess it helped me improve in the game too, and it incentivizes you to actually use all the characters for offline content, and might make you want to use them online as well. Also real quick, while I do say that, it is cool that in the story you do use more than just Deku. I do appreciate that. Assists in this game are pretty decent. If you time them right, they can really save you when you're in a pinch, and also the fact that you can like make your assist characters use a special is a nice touch as well. As for the ultimate attacks, I do think they're quite cool. Obviously they're not on the same level as like Storm Connections or any of the Storm games, like from Storm 4, Storm 3. There's only 6 of them, but considering the size of the roster, the base roster that is, they are pretty cool. They're decent enough. Some are much better than others, like the one with Fat Gum, Kirishima and Tamaki was a little underwhelming, but like the other ones like Bakugo, Kirishima and Kaminari, stuff like that is really cool. There's only 3 ultimate attacks, but I do hope that with this increased budget, current gen optimization, and you know, the fact that the animations are so cool, and you know, it being the definitive game with the biggest roster, I do expect My Hero All's Justice to have a lot more team ultimates, but I think I'll mention that in like a wish list video in the future. But that's about everything. Overall, I do think you should play this game right now while the iron's hot. It's like the game is in a new prime, not just because it's like the road to My Hero Academia All's Justice, but because this PS Plus essential thing has breathed some new life into the game if you're on PlayStation. Both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, they play together online, so it's great. Also, no region locking, you can play with people around the world, and the matchmaking is great and quick. The lagging is, it's not really an issue. Sometimes I start a match and it feels like it's about to lag, and then it just doesn't, or at least very minimally. Now I do understand why people really praise Viking's netcode and wish other anime games had netcode like Viking. It's also making me wonder, is the Jujutsu Kaisen game really that bad? I haven't played it. This is making me want to play it, but I might regret that. I gotta understand, like, if this game is from 2020 and Jujutsu Kaisen is from 2024, is it really that much worse than One's Justice 2? Please do let me know, like, would I be making a huge mistake if I give Curse Clash a chance? Then again, I'm pretty sure there's like no one online on that game, so it would just be offline content anyway. But with that said, that's my thoughts on why you should play My Hero One's Justice 2 now, and my experience with it in 2025. I might do more videos, or at least once I finish the game, another video on the My Hero One's Justice 2 experience in 2025, as well as like more online videos as a road to My Hero Academia All's Justice. But that's about it. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you disagree or agree with anything I said, or if you have any other thoughts. Do check out my other video that I did on My Hero Academia All's Justice, as well as another anime game video that I did recently. It should be on screen now. I think you'll like them. You've watched this far, so you clearly like my content, so why not hit that like button and that subscribe button to stick around and join me on my YouTube journey, because I have no plans of quitting anytime soon. But with that said, follow my Twitter in the description below. I've been your boy Kaizen, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.